guys, Liz with the Busy Bee here, back with another great crochet video tutorial. Today we'll be working on another one of my favorites. It's the kneeling or praying figure crochet pattern. You can find the link to the written pattern shop in the description below, as well as more fun projects to follow along with. Today we're using a size 4mm crochet hook or G6. You'll also be needing your scissors, yarn needle, stitch marker, sewing pins, and a base insert of your choice just to help maintain her shape. Here I'll be using cardboard, as well as your stuffing and yarn. You'll need one color in her skin tone, one for her hair, and one for her dress. So let's get started. Here I'll be working on the main part of her body and then working up to her head. So for round 1, we're going to be using the dress colored yarn of your choice and make a slip knot. Now we will chain 7. For round 2, we're going to be starting from the 3rd chain from the hook, so skipping that first 2 chains, going to the 3rd, we're going to double crochet once in each of the next 4 chains. In this next stitch, we will double crochet 6 times, so go into this last stitch and double crochet 6 times all into the same chain. Now we should be working on the underside of the chains, and we'll begin by double crocheting once in each of the next 4 chains. Now into this last chain, we'll double crochet 5 times. Slip stitch in the first stitch to end the round. Now we will chain 2 and we should have 19 stitches. For round 3, we're going to begin by double crocheting increase in that first stitch. So into that same stitch we made the slip stitch, we're going to double crochet twice. Double crochet once in each of the next 4 stitches. Double crochet 5 times in this next stitch. So into this next stitch we're going to double crochet 5 times, all into the same stitch. Now we're going to double crochet once in each of the next 9 stitches. Double crochet 5 times into this next stitch. Double crochet once in each of the next 3 stitches. Slip stitch into this next stitch. We should now have 28 stitches. For round 4, we're going to begin by single crocheting once in each of the next 6 stitches. Increase in the next 5 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the next 8 stitches. Increase in each of the next 5 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the next 4 stitches. Slip stitch in the next stitch, and we should have 38 stitches. For round 5, we're going to back loop only, single crochet in the next 38 stitches. So instead of working with both loops like we did in previous rounds, for round 5 we're just going to be working in that back loop. So make 1 single crochet in each of the 38 back loops. Now we will slip stitch in the first stitch of the round, and we should have 38 stitches. For round 6, we're going to begin by single crocheting once in each of the next 4 stitches. Now we're going to decrease using the next 2 stitches. So for our decrease, we're just going to go into that next stitch's front loop, and then into that next stitch's front loop, yarn over, pull through, and complete out that decrease. Now we're going to single crochet once in each of the next 4 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the next 12 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the next 4 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet in the next 6 stitches. We should now have 34 stitches. Here we're going to be inserting our base insert. You can use any insert of your choosing. I just happen to have cardboard handy, so I'm going to use that today. To size the insert, you can place the figure you have completed so far on top of your material of choosing and trace around the bottom. Then you cut that out and there you have the perfect sizing. For round 7, we're going to begin by single crocheting once in each of the next 2 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in the next stitch. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the next 10 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in the next stitch. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in the next stitch. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet in the next stitch. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in the next stitch. and decrease using the next 2 stitches. Now single crochet in the last 3 stitches. We should now have 27 stitches. For round 8, we're going to begin by single crocheting once in each of the next 3 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the next 11 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet in the next stitch. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet in the last 6 stitches. We should now have 24 stitches. For round 9, we're just going to single crochet once in each of the next 24 stitches. After round 9, we should still have 24 single crochet. For round 10, we're going to single crochet in the first stitch, and then decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet in the next stitch, and decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the next 6 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet in the next stitch. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet in the next stitch, and decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet in the last 4 stitches, and we should have 19 stitches. Here we will insert a bit of polyfill just so we can fill those hard to reach spots that you might not be able to reach so easily later on in the pattern. For round 11, we're going to begin by single crocheting once in each of the first 13 stitches. Increase in the next 6 stitches. Now we should have 25 stitches. For round 12, we're going to begin by single crocheting once in the first 4 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the next 12 stitches. Increase in the next 4 stitches. Single crochet once in the last 3 stitches and we should have 28 stitches. For round 13, begin by single crocheting once in the first 3 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in the next 15 stitches. Increase in the next 2 stitches. Single crochet in the last 6 stitches and we should have 29 stitches around. For round 14, we're going to begin by single crocheting once in the first 2 stitches. Now decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the next 25 stitches. Now we should have 28 stitches. For round 15, we're going to single crochet in the first 3 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the next 8 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in the next stitch, and decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet in the next stitch, and decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet in the next stitch, and decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet in the last 4 stitches, and we should have 23 stitches. For round 16 through 17, we're going to single crochet once in each of the 23 stitches. Since round 16 and 17 are just a repeating pattern of single crochets, I will speed up the video here and meet you back at the end of round 17. Okay, so now I'm done with round 17 and I still have 23 single crochet. For round 18, we're going to begin by decreasing using the first 2 stitches. Now single crochet once in each of the next 8 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the last 11 stitches, and we should have 21 stitches around. For round 19, begin by decreasing using the first 2 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the next 6 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the last 11 stitches, and we should have 19 stitches. For round 20, begin by decreasing using the first 2 stitches. Now single crochet once in each of the next 6 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the last 9 stitches, and we should have 17 stitches. For round 21, begin by decreasing using the first 2 stitches. Now single crochet once in the next 9 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the last 7 stitches, and we should have 15 stitches. For round 22, we're going to single crochet once in each of the 15 stitches. After round 22, we should still have 15 stitches. For round 23, begin by decreasing using the first 2 stitches. Now single crochet once in each of the next 5 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the last 6 stitches, and we should have 13 stitches around. For round 24, begin by decreasing using the first 2 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the next 3 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the last 6 stitches, and we should have 11 stitches. Here we will start to stuff the body of our figure. Here I have the body of the figure all stuffed, and now we can move on with the pattern. Here we're going to be making the head of the figure. For round 25, we're going to be switching to the skin colored yarn. So single crochet in that first stitch. So go into that first stitch, yarn over, and pull through. Then with the skin tone colored yarn, we're going to wrap it around our hook, leaving a bit of a tail, and pull through those last 2 loops on our hook. Now, only working with the skin tone colored yarn, we're going to increase in the next stitch. Repeat the pattern for the remaining 9 stitches, starting again with a single crochet. Now we can go ahead and cut off those extra tails. Now we should have 16 stitches. For round 26, we're going to single crochet in that first stitch, and increase in the next. Repeat this pattern for the remaining 14 stitches. Now we should have 24 stitches. For round 27, we're going to begin by single crocheting once in each of the first 2 stitches. Now increase in the next stitch. Repeat this pattern for the remaining 21 stitches. We should now have 32 stitches. For rounds 28 through 30, we're going to single crochet once in each of the next 32 stitches. Since rounds 28 through 30 are just a repeating pattern of single crochets, I will speed up the video here and meet you back at the end of round 30. Okay, so here I am, I finished round 30 and I still have 32 single crochet. For round 31, we're going to begin by single crocheting in the first 2 stitches and decrease using the next 2 stitches. Repeat this pattern all the way around for the remaining 28 stitches. We should now have 24 stitches. For round 32, we're going to begin by single crocheting once in the first stitch. Now decrease using the next 2 stitches. Repeat this pattern for the remaining 21 stitches. We should now have 16 stitches. For round 33, begin by single crocheting once in that first stitch, and then decrease using the next 2 stitches. Repeat the pattern for the remaining 13 stitches. We should now have 11 stitches. Here we will stuff the head fully. Now I have stuffed the head. For round 34, we're going to decrease using 2 stitches at a time for the next 10 stitches. Single crochet once in that last stitch and we should have 6 stitches. Now we can fasten off. To close the remaining hole, we will thread our tail through each of the 6 stitches front loops. Now pull tight and hide the remaining tail. Now that we are done with our base of the body and our head, we're going to moving on to making her collar. For round 1, we're going to be using the dress colored yarn and make a slip knot. Now starting in the back of our figure, we're going to single crochet once in each of the 11 stitches where the neck and the head meet. So just where we color change from our dress to our skin tone colored yarn, we're going to single crochet in between each of those stitches. So pull our slip knot through, chain 1, and single crochet 11. Slip stitch in that first stitch and we should have 11 stitches. For round 2, begin by single crocheting once in each of the first 3 stitches. Increase in the next stitch. Repeat this pattern for the remaining 7 stitches. Slip stitch in that first stitch and we should have 13 stitches. For round 3, we're going to begin by single crocheting once in the first 2 stitches. Increase in the next stitch. Repeat this pattern for the next 9 stitches. Single crochet once in that last stitch and slip stitch. We should now have 17 stitches. For round 4, begin by single crocheting once in the first 7 stitches. Increase in the next. Repeat this pattern for the next 8 stitches. Single crochet once in the last stitch and slip stitch. We should now have 19 stitches. Now we can fasten off and hide the tails. Now here is the collar all done, and now we'll be moving on to making her arms. For round 1, we're going to be using the skin toned color yarn, and we're going to make a magic ring of 4 single crochet. Now we can close that magic ring. For rounds 2 and 3, we're going to single crochet once in each of the next 4 stitches. After round 3, we should still have 4 single crochet. For round 4, we're going to be switching to our dress colored yarn. So go into that first stitch, yarn over and pull through. And then with our dress colored yarn, we're going to put it on our hook, leaving a bit of a tail, just like this, and pull through those last 2 loops. Now we're going to increase in the next stitch. Now repeat this pattern for the remaining 2 stitches, starting again with a single crochet. Now we should have 6 single crochet. We can go ahead and cut those extra tails left from the color change. For rounds 5 and 6, we're going to single crochet once in each of the next 6 stitches. After round 6, we should still have 6 single crochet. For round 7, we're going to back loop only single crochet in each of the next 6 stitches. So for round 7, instead of working in both loops, like this, we're only going to be working in that back loop. So make 1 single crochet in each of the next 6 back loops. After round 7, we should still have 6 single crochet. For rounds 8 through 12, we're going to single crochet once in each of the next 6 stitches. Since rounds 8 through 12 are just a repeating pattern of single crochets, I will speed up the video here and meet you back at the end of round 12. Okay, so now here I am finishing up round 12 and I should still have 6 single crochet. Now we will slip stitch to end off the round. Now we can fasten off, leaving a long tail for sewing. Now we will be making the cuff of her sleeve. For round 1, we're going to be taking our dress colored yarn and make a slip knot. In the loops we did not work in of round 6, we're going to single crochet in each of the next 6 stitches. So in these loops that we left, we're going to pull through our slip knot, chain 1, and now single crochet once in each of the next 6 loops. Now we should have 6 single crochet. For round 2, we're going to begin by single crocheting once in each of the first 2 stitches. Now increase in the next stitch. Repeat this for the remaining 3 stitches. Now we should have 8 single crochet. For round 3, we're going to begin by single crocheting in the first 2 stitches. Increase in the next stitch. Repeat this pattern for the remaining 5 stitches. Now we will slip stitch to end the round, and we should have 10 single crochet. Now we can fasten off. We will now repeat the same pattern for our second arm. I will meet you back here when I have completed the second arm. Okay, so here I have my 2 arms done, and I went ahead and hid the tails, leaving the longer ones for sewing. Now it's time to sew our arm to the body. So take one arm and just fold it in half, and then we're just going to pin it right underneath the collar to one of the figure sides. Now using the tail we left, we will sew the arm down to the body. Now we repeat the same process for our second arm, starting again by just taking one of the arms, folding it in half, and then pinning it down right by the collar on the opposite side of our figure. Now again, just using the tail we left, we will sew this arm down to the body as well. Once we are done sewing, we can go ahead and hide the remaining tails. Now I'll be sewing her hands together into the prayer position. Start by cutting a long piece of our skin tone colored yarn and thread it onto your needle. Now press her two hands together and use the tail we left to sew the hands in place. Once we are done sewing, we can hide in the remaining tails. Now that we are done with her arms, we'll be moving on to making her hair. So for round 1, we're going to be using the hair colored yarn and make a magic ring of 6 single crochet. Once we are done making our single crochets, we can go ahead and pull the magic ring closed. For round 2, we're going to increase in each of the next 6 stitches. After round 2, we should have 12 single crochet. For round 3, we're going to begin by single crocheting once in the first stitch and increasing in the next. Repeat this pattern for the remaining 10 stitches. At the end of round 3, we should have 18 single crochet. For round 4, we're going to begin by single crocheting once in the first 2 stitches and increasing in the next. Repeat the pattern for the remaining 15 stitches. At the end of round 4, we should have 24 single crochet. For round 5, we're going to begin by slip stitching in the first stitch, and then make a chain of 21. Now starting from the second chain from the hook, so skipping that first one and going to that second one, we're going to slip stitch increase in the first 4 chains. So make 2 slip stitches in each of the 4 chains. Now we will slip stitch in the next 16 chains. We should now have 24 slip stitches. Now we will slip stitch into the next stitch and chain 21. We will just repeat this process all the way around for the 24 stitches. Here I'll just show you the pattern one more time. So starting in that second chain from the hook, we're going to slip stitch increase in the first 4 chains. Now slip stitch once in the next 16 chains. Now we should have 24 slip stitches. To complete this, we will just slip stitch in the next stitch of the round. Now we have 2 strands of hair done. We will just repeat this all the way around for the remaining 22 stitches, and we should have 24 strands of hair in total. I will meet you back here when I have completed the 24th strand. Okay, so here I'm completing the 24th strand. I just have a few more slip stitches left. Now we will slip stitch in the last stitch of the round to end off our 24th strand. Now we can fasten off, leaving a long tail for sewing. Now I'll be sewing the hair down to the figure. Start by placing the base of the hair to the top of the head. Here you want to make sure to leave 4 strands undone, just so that we can complete the hairstyle later on. So make sure to take those 4 strands and see if they are centered and in line with your hands. Now we will pin the top of the hair to the head. Now we will use the tail we left to sew a few stitches around the top of the head. Once we are done with this step, we can go ahead and pin each strand down to her head. Here we're just going to pin down those extra 4 strands to the top of her head just so that they're out of the way. Now I'll be sewing each strand together. To begin, we're going to take a loop of the second strand, just like this, and a loop of the first strand. Now pull through, and do that one more time. Now we will take one piece of our second strand and one piece or one stitch from the head. So here we have one yellow stitch and one tan stitch, and then we can take one more piece of hair from the first strand. So we should have a total of 3 loops on our needle. We can then pull through and repeat this for 4 more stitches, taking one piece from the hair, one stitch from the head, and one more piece from the hair. Now we can just go back to taking only the hair loops. So taking one loop from that second strand and one loop from that first strand, pull through, and repeat this for the next 7 stitches. This part is up to you, but here I like to stop sewing the strands together, leaving about 9 to 10 stitches still undone, so that it just gives the hair a more natural look. So now that we're done sewing strands 1 and 2, we're going to be sewing strands 2 and 3. And instead of working down the strands, we're going to be working up. So to transition from strands 2 to 3, we're just going to take 3 and match it up to 2 and pull our needle through. Now we're going to be taking one loop from 2 and one from 3 and repeat this for the next 7 stitches. Now here we'll go back to the pattern where we take a stitch from our hair, a stitch from the head, and then a stitch from the hair again, and repeat this for the next 5 stitches. Now we'll just be taking hair loops for the last couple stitches. Okay, so now here we have sewn 2 and 3, and we would just repeat this pattern all the way around for the rest of the strands. So here we worked up, so now the next strands will be working down, and then up again, and just repeating this alternating pattern all the way around. So here I'll just meet you back when I have finished sewing the 20th strand. Okay, so now here I'm just finished sewing strand 19 and 20 together. Once we're done sewing the last 2 strands, we can go ahead and hide the tail. Now that we're done with the main part of her hair, we can go ahead and just finish up these last 4 strands. So to style her hair, I just like to take 2 strands and then swoop it to the left side, just like this. Now we can just pin those in place. Now we can just repeat that same thing with the remaining 2 strands, but on the right side. Now we'll take a piece of our hair colored yarn and use this to sew the strands down. Now we can use the same tail to sew down the second pair of strands as well. Once we're done sewing, we can go ahead and hide the tails. Now we are all done with our figure, and this is how the finished project should look. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial as well. I would love to see your projects and what you have done, so be sure to find me on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok and tag me there. Also subscribe here and comment what pattern or tutorial you would like to see next. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!